Before we start today's show, we just wanted to take a moment and give a huge thank you to the podcast sponsor, StreamYard. With StreamYard, you can stream directly from your browser, create a broadcast, show comments on screen, and see all of your comments in one place. With StreamYard, you can record HD video and audio. You can even go live with pre-recorded videos. Save, rewatch, and download past broadcasts. You can invite guests to your broadcast from any device. StreamYard makes it easy to run interviews, talk shows, podcasts, and so much more. You can simply get started with your own by heading on over to StreamYard.com. Now, without further ado, brought to you by Mindful Media Productions, you are now tuned into my favorite podcast, The Archives with Adam. Here is your host and my grandson, Adam.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Archives with Adam. Today I have a very special guest, one that I've been looking forward to talking to for a while. As you may see the name there, Miss Cheryl Chase. Miss Cheryl Chase has played Angelica Pickles as well as quite a few other characters that we have grown up to enjoy. Some that many people may not know, but that's just a brief introduction. I'll let Miss Cheryl Chase do a little bit more there that I may be forgetting.
Is it my turn to talk?
Yes, ma'am. Yep.
Okay. Another voice that I'm known for is the original My Neighbor Totoro. I'm the voice of Little May, so I know when I'm at anime conventions, the fans go wild about that. They love that movie, and it's really a pleasure to be a part of it.
That's one that I'm not too familiar with, but I'll
Oh,
definitely be looking into it. I haven't really gotten into anime too much, but there's so many people you can have a great conversation with, and I hear a lot of the folks in the anime world are actually wonderful to talk to.
yeah,
Um,
it's a really hot movie in that world. I did the original recording, the original dub of the Japanese version.
okay.
Um but Disney bought it and they recast the voices. So they
Gotcha.
have Dakota and Elle Fanning playing the little girl roles in the movie.
Wow.
So but I'm in the original record.
That's the one that matters most.
Yes.
So you have a huge background in voice acting. I mean, you've even done the voice of Puby on Addams
Oh,
Family,
yes.
which I didn't know about.
Yeah,
I did not
yeah,
know
that
about.
was yeah, baby Pubert. It was kind of funny. I remember the day of that recording session. I was on Paramount Lot, and I got lost trying to go to the ADR stage where we do the record, do the film, the ADR for doing the movie. Um, Mike Myers, who was filming um, Wayne's World 2. He was filming it, and so he was all in costume, and I didn't know it was him. So he took me over to the stage, and then when he left, he's just, "Are you okay? Is everything all right?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you so much." And then when he left, I realized, oh my gosh, that was Adam Sandler. So it was, Adam Sandler did Wayne's World, right?
No, that was Mike Myers. Yeah,
Mike
yeah,
Myers, I'm
yeah.
sorry. Yeah, I'm
No, you're fine.
confusing the two. But yeah, that was really a cool moment.
It sounds like a good moment, or even a cool moment in general. Just actually running into the Mike Myers. That's iconic.
Yeah.
Um, So one question you probably get asked a lot is what inspired you to get into the world of entertainment, voice acting, things like that. Was it something
Oh,
that you've always wanted to do since
yeah,
you
it's
were a kid?
something I always wanted. I loved when I was growing up. I loved doing funny voices, and I would do little plays with my friends, and I yeah, yeah, I've always wanted to do that. And I everyone would always tell me growing up that when I was little, they said, "You have a baby voice. Stop talking like a baby." And I didn't know what they meant. It's like I talk normal like everybody else. I didn't know that I had this unique voice. So when I went to college, I initially I trained for child development and family relationships, and then later I switched my major to teaching acting to deaf children. And then I was realizing, why do I want to be in a class teaching something to people that I want to do myself? So that was kind of like a realization, like, wait a minute. So I switched all my classes to acting. And at that time, I was also discovering voiceover, and I would go to I would try to get little jobs on the radio or just little voiceover jobs that I could find. That's when it started, when I was in college.
Okay.
And
And is
and um, I was walking down the sidewalk one day, and somebody ran up to me. This is like before I realized I can do voices. Somebody said to me, "You sound just like Glinda the Good Witch in The Wizard of Oz." And I thought, it's like I tried to mimic her. And it's like, are you a good witch or a bad witch? You don't need to be helped any longer. You've always had the power to go back to Kansas. So I thought, hey, and everybody liked my imitations. So I decided to switch to, doing more voiceover than acting. So
okay.
yeah, it,
And would
it
you
happened
say
around when I was in college.
okay? Would you say it's paid off pretty well for you?
Yes, it has. It's really ironic because I grew up with all the kids in the neighborhood making fun of my voice, calling me a baby. And it was really weird that I got on a cartoon show that I'm playing a baby,
Mm,
like or bossing around the dumb babies. So
exactly.
it's kind of funny.
No, and I grew up watching that show. I mean, religiously, I tell you. Um, so it's like every day, and like now, not every day, sorry. You see things like out in the public of like Rugrats, and then obviously they brought it back, and it's like, man, am I getting old or are we still at that point, So
Well, if you think you're getting old, I'm getting old too. But age is a state of mind.
it is, it is. You
Yes.
can still enjoy all that fun stuff,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, so what was your first paid gig doing, voice acting or even in acting?
Oh wow. Well, let's just say when I moved to California, I got a voiceover agent, and my first my first one was the voice of a little lamb, a little stuffed. It was on a cassette back then. It was long time ago, so we had cassettes. I don't know if people are gonna know what they are,
I
but
remember. I
they're
remember.
on audio cassettes, and I would do. It was a little lamb voice on a little children's program. I don't know if it's not a program, but a story with all different little characters. And with the cassette, you would get a stuffed animal with the toy. It was a toy that I did.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was the very first one.
Okay. And were there any lessons that you have learned from like your first experience that may even be something that carries over to nowadays in the work that you do?
No, not per se. No, no. What I did learn is when I was going out for auditions that it's hard. It's not easy when you first start out, and because it's intimidating. You go into this recording booth, and you have people behind the glass telling you, this is what you want. This is what we want. Read it this way. Read it that way. And it's not. It's not. And voiceover is not per se reading. You have to act. You have to take acting classes and learn how to perform. It's and it's not that easy. But once you get it, and it's fun.
Okay. Okay. Um, so obviously you famously voiced Angelica Pickles. I'm just kind of curious, like what to know what it's like to be a part of something with such a longevity that's lasted this long in today's day and age, even, after all these years.
Oh, it's to me it's a huge blessing to be a
Mhm.
part of something that has touched the lives of so many children, and then now the children are adults.
Hmm.
And it's not only in the United States, it's in the world. I mean, Rugrats was global. It was all
Hmm.
over the world. And the cartoon, of course, they had real actors in those countries doing the voices for the characters so the little kids would understand, obviously. But the fact is, to be a part of such a grand thing that brings so much joy to so many people, so rewarding. It's wonderful,
Oh yeah.
really.
Oh yeah. And
Yeah.
I remember growing up, and my grandmother, she would always take us to Burger King, and we would get all the toys, right? We had like the
Right.
watches. Do you
Yes.
remember those watches that you would get, and it would
Yes,
like,
I
yeah.
remember. I might even have an Angelica watch or one of the other character watches in my collection. I have a big merchandise, a merch collection that over the
Okay.
years that I would keep and store. So I might have one of those watches.
Do you have a prized possession in that collection that you cherish the most?
Mm, well, there actually everything is in boxes since we moved,
Mm,
but um, I don't know. I would think I like the karaoke doll.
okay.
Do you know the Angelica karaoke doll
Yes.
from the Rugrats in Paris? I think it was from Rugrats in Paris.
Yes.
Yeah, that I love. That was really fun. I really wish they would have made a more prettier costume on her. It was kind of a lame little dress they put on her, but on Angelica. But I remember back then, O'Donnell had a talk show. Do you know Rosie O'Donnell?
Yeah.
Yeah, she had a talk show, and Susan Sarandon, who played a part in Rugrats in Paris, she brought the doll on the show, and I remember Mattel. The doll they bought. It made over $2 million for Mattel, and at that time it was a lot of money back then. Um, but yeah, that was. I think I have to say I like the karaoke doll.
You have your own Cynthia doll?
I oh, I can show you something. Can I get off camera for a minute? I
Yeah,
have some.
that's totally okay. Yeah, no, I would appreciate that.
Okay, hold on a second.
All right.
I have this Cynthia. That's Cynthia
That's
doll.
awesome.
It's a little it's rubber.
Uh-huh.
And then I was sent by this company. This is really cool. It's a Cynthia watch.
Oh, that is so awesome.
If you can, I don't know if you can see it,
I do
but
see
it's
it. Yeah.
yeah. And that I'm not going to take it out of the box. I'm just going to save it.
Oh yeah, I would. It's going to be worth something in the future, but obviously it's something that, you cherish because it's a
Oh
part of you,
yeah,
right?
I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. So I want to talk about the role of Hubert. How did you get that? So like I said earlier, I didn't know you voiced it until I did a little research. And I mean, how did you get that? Obviously it's a baby, there's a baby, but then they've used the voices you would make over it, right?
Yeah, yeah. See, they use um, adults who can do baby voices for the
Mhm.
babies in the movies because they're the babies that play babies in the movies. They don't have a strong enough. They can't get they're you can't hear them. So you have to have presence. You have to have um, an adult with lungs, with big
Mhm.
lungs, to be able to put character and add baby nuance to the film when you're watching the movie. You
Mhm.
know, so I just went into an audition and did my baby voices, and they picked me. Um, when a woman wants to do a baby voice, you have to just constrict your vocal cords like this. So I did those baby voices, and Maybe because I did the baby in Baby Boom with Diane Keaton. That was my first baby movie. Maybe that helped me get the pubert baby role.
Okay.
But yeah, back then I was known for doing babies in movies. There was other movies, but there weren't as well known as Addams Family Values that I did baby
Gotcha.
work in.
Yeah.
So
Somebody with my kind of range of voice probably would not be able to pull something off like that. But I mean, I
well,
do some. Oh, go ahead.
usually men can't do baby voices, only the women.
That would be weird if I could do it.
Yes, it would be. Yes.
Oh man. Did you get to work with any of the cast from that movie? Like, did you
Let
get
me
to
think.
meet them?
Yeah, well, actually, I didn't work with them, but I remember I was in a recording studio, and the boy that played Wednesday's boyfriend in the movie, we were there, and I don't know what,
Oh,
maybe he was doing post-production work like I was as well, but on the show. So
gotcha.
we did meet. He's very nice, and I remember him saying such a fan of Ren and Stimpy because I'm also on
Yeah.
Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah.
So we had to talk about Ren and Stimpy. I remember that.
Okay. And then when
Yeah.
it comes to Ren and Stimpy, you played Mrs. Simp on there. Obviously I don't think we ever got to see her face. We only seen the neck down. Um,
Oh yeah. Well, I wait. What was the character name?
Miss Pipe, sorry, Miss
Oh
Pipe.
yeah, Miss Pipe. Yes, Miss Pipe. Yeah, and yeah, it was from the neck down. It
Yeah.
was one of the episodes where Miss Pipe was in and Mr. Pipe. It was where Ren and Stimpy were pretending to be babies.
Hmm.
So I did the baby voices for Ren and Stimpy, and I also did the voice for Mrs. Pipe. So that was a fun episode. I forgot what it was called, but yeah, that was fun.
Gotcha.
And if it wouldn't take too long, I mean, I have pictures that I could show, but it would take too long for
Gotcha.
me to go get them and dig them out.
Maybe
So,
another day we could definitely do a part two or something. I would love that. And
oh,
then
sure,
my
sure. No,
girlfriend wanted to be a part of this, but unfortunately she got home from work a
oh,
little too late. So she's like, "Oh, I don't have my makeup done and I'm not
oh.
ready." So I'm like, I know you really wanted to do this episode. So
Oh, well, we could do a part two.
okay. And we'll set
Yeah,
that up for another day whenever
yeah, yeah. And then
after we're done with this
I
one.
can have stuff like on at the ready. I can have merchandise and different things
Okay.
to show.
That
Yeah.
would be wonderful. That would be
Oh,
wonderful.
sure,
Okay.
sure. Yeah.
Okay. So Rugrats. I mean, we've talked about it already quite a bit. What was the audition process for that? Obviously, they're babies and things like that. But how was the process for that? How did you land that role?
Well, at the time, I was working in the office in the Ren and Stimpy production offices at Spunko. I
Mhm.
was a receptionist, and then later I was a casting director. I went, but my boss let me get away for auditions, so I went to this to Klasky Chupo, and there was a Rugrat pilot, and Tommy and Phil and Lil were the characters. So I tried out, I didn't get it, obviously. And then, like, I don't know how long, it was like over a year later, the show was sold, and now they're going into production, and they need to have other characters. So I went back, and it was for Angelica and Chucky. So I tried out for Angelica and Chucky, and I did Angelica, and then it said I read this my script, and it said for a bossy little 3-year old. So I thought, how does she sound? Well, maybe she sounds like me. If I was 3 years old, I would squeeze my vocal cords really tight, and then that's where Angelica was born. So I did that voice, and I got the part. How I got the part was at I was doing some work on The Simpsons. I was doing background voices for The Simpsons. So I was there, and we were all there doing the voices. And I get a call from my agent, and the agent said, "Oh, you got the part of Angelica on the Rugrats." And I thought, "Oh, that's really cool, man." I was really excited, but I didn't really know. It was just a little show. We didn't really know it was going to be this big, huge global franchise. We didn't know. So, but I was very excited. And I remember asking the director a little while later when we were into production. I said, what made them choose me? Why did they choose me? And the director here in California, in LA, said, "Well, we had the audition tapes. We picked who we wanted, a couple of people who we wanted. You were one of them. We sent your audition to New York because the Nickelodeon in New York, the Nickelodeon studios there, they were the ultimate decision makers." And the producer said, where there was me and there was another girl, and they just said, "Yeah, let's just go with Cheryl." That's it. That was just like, let's go with her. And it was amazing because it changed my life. It was a brilliant opportunity. The poor other girl, I don't know who she was, but yeah. So I'm happy that I got it.
Hmm. There you
Yeah.
go. So you mentioned The Simpsons. What voices did you do on there? Do you remember?
They were background. It's called Walla voices.
Mhm.
When you have a
Wow.
crowd of characters on screen, they round up a bunch of voiceover actors. They put them in a recording booth, and you will look at the different characters, and you'll pick. Well, I'm going to do that one. I'm going to do that one. I'm going to do that one, and then you put voice. You put a voice to the characters that's in the crowd scene in the cartoon or in live action movies or TV. It's the same thing.
Okay.
So that yeah, I never had like a speaking like a character on The Simpsons. I was just
Okay.
like background.
Gotcha. But you
Yeah,
could have been on there. I mean, you
I
really could have
could
been on
have.
there.
Yeah.
Like Ralphie or something.
Yeah, and I remember what I mean. I could do a Bart Simpson. I could try to do Bart Simpson. Cowabunga, dude. I can do a little bit of Bart, and I did get a job as Bart Simpson when Nancy Cartwright didn't want to do it. It was a video game, and they she it was not she wanted more money and they didn't want to give it to her, so
Gotcha.
so they had somebody else do a sound alike, which I got the job. So that was really fun doing a Bart Simpson job.
Oh yeah, why not, right? Everybody knows Bart Simpson. Um,
Yeah.
what game was it? Do you remember?
No,
Oh, gotcha.
don't
Gotcha.
remember. It was a very
I
long time ago.
gotcha. Well, hey, you know what? I'm gonna research that. I'm gonna find out, and I'll figure that game out.
Yeah, you figured out.
I
It's
will.
it's either a game or it was a commercial with
Oh,
her
okay.
voice in it. See, this is what, and I keep thinking Butterfinger. I don't know, Butterfinger commercial
The
or a video
Butterfinger
game.
BB.
I think it was the video game. This was in the 90s.
Oh, okay.
So,
Okay.
a long time ago.
Yes, very much so. Did you have a favorite role or favorite line that you had from Rugrats? I'm sure you get asked to do the stupid babies
Yeah, the
line all
dumb
the time.
babies.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
like, I like the when Angelica says, "I wish I was you so I can be friends with me." And I like that because I often thought that of myself.
Yeah.
So I related with it. So, because I'm a nice person. So, and I'm very giving to my friends. I help them. So I thought, geez, I wish I had a friend like me. So, yeah.
Mhm.
So when Angelica says that, I relate with that.
Yeah. You play the evil baby, but you're actually a nice, caring person.
Ah,
It's
I'm a
totally
nice
opposite.
person. Yeah.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Were there any episodes that you truly enjoyed making the most?
I like one jumps out at me. It was actually in All Grown Up.
Hmm.
Um, it was the very, very last episode, and it was Angelica as 13, but she had a teacher, a substitute teacher, and it was the son of, oh shoot, now I forget the guy's name, but he was a famous comedian, and his son was playing the part in the Rugrats episode. It'll come to me. Oh, John Ritter's
Okay.
son, Jason Ritter.
Wow.
So I remember he was such a nice guy, and just a wonderful nice guy. And it was around the dad passed away,
Oh, wow.
and we got a chance to talk about things like that, how he felt and everything. It was just a very nice moment there working with him. But as far as like the cartoon, um, wow, let's see. I Well, when I was recording Rugrats in Paris, that's my favorite Rugrat movie.
Okay.
And Paramount flew me out to New York because Susan Sarandon, who was playing the French person, there was a French lady on Rugrats in Paris. She was the boss. She was like an evil boss, and Susan Sarandon was playing her role, and she never did a cartoon before, so she had Paramount fly me out there, and I just read with her. I already recorded my lines in on Paramount lot in Los Angeles, but Paramount flew me to New York, and I met with Susan, and I was just there sitting with her, reading her lines, and that was that was an exciting moment for me as the job goes. So that was fun. Oh, another favorite, what I love, which is my all-time very favorite Rugrat job, was when they had Universal Studios had a Nickelodeon I don't know what you call it, a Nickelodeon venue where they had a
Mhm.
show. It was like, I think it was it was a magical show because Angelica played a magician, and it was like 20 minutes. It was a show on Universal lot in the park, in the theme park, and it was kind of like the Rugrats magical adventure, and they had those dancers who were like the Rugrats characters. They were in costume.
Okay.
Yeah, and they were, Angelica was on stage. The other babies were in, the dancers were on stage as the Rugrats, and Angelica would be singing. Just would have all these. It was a musical. It was a 20-minute musical, and I remember singing for 8 hours doing these songs, and it was like the funnest thing. I just remember doing that, and that to me was my funnest job for the
Okay.
Rugrats. Yeah.
Okay. Um, so when it came to doing like the movies, because obviously we got a couple Rugrats movies and then we had the shows. Was there anything different in that recording process, for like the voice acting? Was there anything different compared?
Well, I really liked doing the movies because we got to go on Paramount lot. We got to
Mhm.
go on the lot where all the sound stages are, and to be around them, make how they make the movies was very thrilling for me. And we went into the ADR stage, the loop where you do the looping for the movie. They call it looping. It's just you watch a movie, you watch the black and white version of the movie. It's black and white, and oh, wait a minute, I'm talking about looping. I'm getting it mistaken. That was for forgive me, that was for when I did the Addams Family Values movie. It was a
Okay.
movie. It was black and white, and we would just put the voices to the picture, to the movie. But for Rugrats, we just went there and we recorded, and it was in a big. It was like in a big movie. It was like a movie theater without movie seats, and they have the booths there set around where you sit in your little cubicle, and the voice actors would sit in their cubicles, and they would look at the director who's behind the glass, and he would read lines with you, and you would read them back, or you read them with the other actors that are there. Usually we record alone, solo, but
Mhm.
back then we recorded with the other actors. And that's, did I answer your question? Am I doing it right?
Yeah, yeah. I just was kind of curious if there was anything that was different compared to like the TV show. So you're kind of giving me like the idea of it as well as like, what you preferred. So yeah, no, I mean,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
like it.
because the TV show we're just a Klasky Chupo in a little recording booth. It's really small, but at Paramount it's this big vast movie theater without movie seats. It was really big and it was exciting.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So I know we're almost out of time. You have some things you need to take care of
Oh,
today.
oh, that went fast. Well, we'll have to
It
do it
it
again,
did.
Adam.
For sure, definitely. And next time I'm definitely going to want to talk about the memorabilia.
Oh,
I want to
sure.
talk about some of the books that you made as well as like the foundations that you've been a part of.
Oh, sure, absolutely.
Definitely, definitely. So I'll go ahead. We'll go ahead and wrap it up a little bit right now. Would you like to end the show with like a favorite line that you done or like a line other than the one that you gave me beforehand?
Well, it's just like my favorite. You dumb babies!
There you go.
Watch the Rugrats every day on Paramount Plus.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, there we have it. Miss Cheryl Chase, we've been working on this for so long now. We're finally making it happen. And stay tuned for part two. That'll be coming very soon.
Part two.
Part two.
I just wanted to take a moment and thank the podcast sponsor, StreamYard. Without StreamYard, none of this would be possible. I also want to thank everybody for tuning in and watching this episode, whether you're streaming it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, or watching on YouTube. Thank you so much and stay tuned for many more episodes.